The iconic musical comedy Little Shop of Horrors is coming to Côte Saint-Luc.
This plant just appeared the other day during the total...
Tell me, what do you feed it?
Oh, nothing unusual.
The play is presented by the award-winning Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society, which is celebrating its 6th season this year. Little Shop of Horrors is a horror comedy rock musical featuring a flesh-eating plant determined to dominate the world. It was adapted into a movie back in 1986, starring a young Bill Murray and Steve Martin, to name a few. The local production of Little Shop of Horrors runs from June 8th to the 25th at the Harold Greenspan Auditorium on Cavendish Boulevard. The cast includes both amateurs and professional performers from across Montreal, and I'm happy to be joined by the Little Shop of Horrors producer and Côte Saint-Luc Mayor, Mitchell Brownstein, and Alexia Gourd, the choreographer for the show. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having us.
You guys have done musicals and dramatic plays. Why did you guys decide to go with Little Shop this year?
Well, Little Shop of Horrors is like a classic that everybody from across the island of Montreal would want to go see. It's the first time I think that we're doing a show that really has island-wide appeal. Everybody knows about the show, and it's, you know, it's a takeoff on the horror movies of the past, and it's a musical, and it has amazing choreography. We have our Alexia Gourd, who's been with us when we were nominated for Outstanding Community Theatre Production, and when we won for Hairspray at the Meadows.
Yeah,
so great dancing, great everything.
Yeah, that's right, Alexia. So, you know, the Dramatic Society, it's been 6 years, and they've had a lot of successes. Mitchell was mentioned with the awards, and you've been a part of that. What's it like being part of a Little Shop?
It's so great. It's so great. I mean, we have such a great team there with the Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society. Working with Anissa Cameron and David Terrio, our director and musical director, is just fantastic. We just make such a good team, and we're blessed with such a strong and talented cast. It's been really a blessing from the get-go.
What's it like to do choreography for the music of Alan Menken?
It's great. It's really fun. I mean, and the last 2 shows have been very rock and roll based, which is really fun for choreography. You know, it gives you a lot of rhythm, and then you can play with things. And generally, there's not that much dance in Little Shop of Horrors, so it was interesting to just kind of go with something completely new and just kind of reinvent myself, because I didn't have a lot to like base myself on from like previous Broadway productions. So it's been really fun for that.
The dance in our version of Little Shop of Horrors is a lot more.
Yes, exactly.
Because Anissa Cameron's all known, with Alexia Gourd, they're known for these big productions in a small theater space, and we have all these dancers that you don't appear like I'm Mr. Mushnick, and in the Broadway show there's Mr. Mushnick and Seymour alone. But when we sing Mushnick and Son, there's so much choreography going on around us, which makes it really exciting. And you know, when we are a success, as we've been in the past, we've remounted at the Center Theater and at the Seagull Center.
Well, as you mentioned, a lot of people know this musical. It's iconic, but for those who might not, just give them a little taste of what it's about, other than the flesh-eating plant.
Basically,
wow.
I think that's really what it's about. We don't want to give the whole story away, but this florist guy by the name of Mr. Mushnick, he owns the flower shop. He's very, very upset that nobody's coming to buy anything in his store. And then all of a sudden, his employee, Seymour, comes with this very strange and interesting plant, and everything changes. Business starts booming, but other things that aren't so great start happening because we know this plant wants blood.
It's also kind of like almost like a coming-of-age type of story, because there's this guy, Seymour, who, you know, has trouble finding his place, and all of a sudden, this plan just bring him, you know, a whole different take on his life, and, you know, the rest is up for you guys to see, but it's also the story of this guy trying to just find his place and grow as a human being.
And you said this production is going to be very unique. This production.
Well, all our productions are unique in that David Terrio has a 5-piece band, which is outstanding, and we have the dancing and artistic director. So this trio puts on a production with a larger cast than you'd find. Like the cast generally, I think, is 8 or 10 people for Little Shop, and ours is 23. And the actors are professional and amateur wanting to be professional. So, I mean, everybody in that show is really, we had 120 people audition. I mean, everybody wants to be in our shows.
So what's that like, mixing with the professionals and the soon-to-be professionals?
Well, I think everybody in the show is amazing. I mean, when we put on the musicals, this is our most talented actors and dancers and singers. But we also provide opportunities for us in a senior summer workshop, and we have comedies and we have dramas. So we do provide community theater for people of all levels. But the musicals are really very high caliber.
Yeah, and you guys as I understand, have been promoting this musical out there. You held a flash mob.
Yes, we had a flash mob at the Mega Garage Sale in Côte Saint-Luc, and we also do what we call mitzvah shows, which is good deed shows, where we go to old people's homes.
Okay.
So we went to St. Patrick's Square, which is a independent living seniors home. We went to the Waldorf, which is a seniors home, and they loved it. It was amazing how the seniors love to see the songs.
And Alexia, for you, with being the choreographer,
Yes.
what kind of reaction have you been seeing so far as just like the flash mob and just doing, the shows that you've been doing so far?
For Côte Saint-Luc, I mean, we've had such great audiences for the past 3-4 seasons, and I heard the response from everybody at the flash mob was great, and it was really good for the cast to finally get an audience because they've been working so hard on this, and I think they're really ready to present it to people. So I think it was great for them to finally get an audience and present some of the work they've been doing.
Yeah.
And something new, Sabrina Miller is our set designer and our puppeteer. And we have the puppet because this plant grows 5 times until it's big enough to be able to eat a human.
Oh gosh.
So you're going to come to the theater and
yes.
see this amazing plant, and I mean that's going to be quite spectacular.
She's
to
fabulous.
See.
She's an amazing set designer and puppeteer. Like the puppets she created are amazing.
And like, how big does it get? I know it starts off as like a small potted
well, you're
plant.
gonna have to come and see it. I think that's a good surprise.
Yeah, it has to be big enough to be able to eat a human. So it's quite big, and it's overpowering by the end of the show in the theater.
I mean, the plant's the star of the show, right?
The plant is the star of the show. Kenny Stein plays the plant, and he has an amazing voice. Ben Warner is back. He was in Our Town, and now he's Seymour. And no, it's wonderful. We have old and new actors. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, 6 years now for the Dramatic Society, you're looking to take on maybe more actors, actresses, productions once the little shop is done?
Well, a mission in Côte Saint-Luc is to provide an opportunity for actors, audiences, and the community at large to be able to participate in what we do. So many people from Côte Saint-Luc come and see the shows or participate in them, and it's a meaningful experience where people find happiness, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to find happiness.
Well, theater's a big family.
Theater's the way to do it, and that's what we do in everything that we try to do. As mayor of Côte Saint-Luc, it's very important for me to have this. I think theater is just as important as sports in developing the person, and we want to provide that opportunity for people to enjoy life in Côte Saint-Luc.
Well, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Look forward to seeing the show.